Hey, Jordan Bench here, jordanbench.com. In this video, I want to share with you a Bible memorization app that I use. I've been using it now for several years and I absolutely love it. I started using this app because when I began stepping out and witnessing and sharing the gospel, I started realizing I didn't really know many scriptures. And when people asked me questions, I didn't know what scriptures to point them to or what to even bring up or recall because I really didn't know much. So I began researching different Bible apps that dealt with scripture memorization. And I found this one in particular called Remember Me Bible Verse or Bible Memorization. But the main name of it is Remember Me. And it's red, it has a little cross on it with a little heart as well. This app, though, it has helped me tremendously when it comes to memorizing Bible verses and even categorizing Bible verses so that I can, click on a category and I can bring up all the verses within there that pertain to that topic, Bible verses that I have found and ones that I really enjoy and like. So it has come in handy in so many situations. One of the main ways is just for me to start to memorize certain Bible verses. A lot of times I try to memorize scriptures based on topic so that I have a very good understanding of that topic and I can bring up and recall those verses. And another way that I do it is just in the sense of if I'm talking with somebody, I can easily pull my phone out and then I can open up the app and I can show them, let's say it's a question dealing with salvation or rededication, a question dealing with just them getting saved. I can just open up the app and then I can show them all these different verses that all talk about getting saved and what salvation is. And then I can end up leading them to Jesus through that method. And that was what I started doing when I very first started launching out and getting going with all this, because I really didn't have a whole lot of scriptures memorized. But now I'm at the point where I don't really need to do that anymore because I have a lot of them memorized. But if I ever need to, I have it there and it's easy for me to pull up. And one of the neat things is that this app, when you go to pull up scriptures, it's not just based on one Bible translation. It actually lets you choose whichever translation you want. So maybe there's a situation where you want to use the King James, and there's another situation where you want to use the Amplified or even the MEV, the Modern English Version, or even the ESV or NIV, whichever version you want. You can use whichever one you want, and it works out really well. The other thing that I like too is it doesn't just say the Bible verse, but it actually lets you put it into a category, and it also lets you add a little subtitle to it. So that little subtitle actually helps trigger me to remember what Bible verse it actually is. So that always comes in handy as well. So if I'm not really sure what that scripture is, because a lot of times you'll see, the name of the book and then you'll see the chapter and then the verse, but you have a really hard time remembering what it even is. So sometimes I like to add a little subtitle just to trigger my mind so I know what that scripture is related to. So that kind of shortcuts a lot for me right there. So this app, though, I got to say, it's something that I would use just to help me get going, to help memorize scripture. It uses several different tactics that I really like as far as trying to just memorize the scripture itself, like using rote memory. So one of the ways it works is kind of like a note card scenario to where you'll see the scripture and then you tap on the thing and then it'll actually switch over and it'll show you what the actual scripture is. So it shows you the verse and it shows you the scripture, it shows you both. The other thing too is it shows you to where it'll have these little puzzle games for you to play. So it'll have the word and then a blank, the word and a blank, and then you have to type in what you think the next one is. And it actually begins to rate you and give you a score on how well you're performing. It has several different games like that, just so it triggers your mind to work in several different ways to help you memorize the verse. So in all this, I need to say one thing. I like Bible memorization. I like scripture memorization. I think it's all good. But ultimately, though, I don't necessarily like the idea of memorizing just one verse and then that's it. Because I think it's very important to memorize or to know and understand the context in which the verse is in. So you're not just pulling out one scripture, you're actually knowing what the entire context is of that scripture. But I really do think it's still vital and important to know the individual scriptures for when it comes to certain situations that you might come across. So hopefully that makes sense of what I just said, that I didn't confuse you, but it actually makes sense in the context of knowing where that verse fits, what was said before it, what was said after it, what the whole book is about, what the chapter is about, having that kind of understanding. So anyways, I'm going to link the app in the description below. The app is actually used for Android and iOS, so you can use it for whatever device you have. And this app, like I said, I really enjoy this app. I think it's really good. It's free to use. I think the app goes by like donation purposes, so if you want to donate to the app, you can help out the developers who produced it. The one thing I do need to say though is the app isn't necessarily all that intuitive. I mean, it is easy to use, but it just takes just a little bit of time of playing with it just to understand how it works. But once you get past that little learning curve, it's actually really easy to do. So I hope you liked this video. I hope it helped out. If it did, please give this video a like and give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please subscribe. Also, comment below if you have any questions regarding the app or any other apps that you use for scripture memorization. And I will see you in the next video.